We believe they will arrive as time progresses. As soon as they come, we are going to invite them to stay. And I will also use this opportunity to welcome to this panel the representatives of the Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs and the Christian Association of Nigeria, representing the two faiths, to be on the panel as well. Who is representing the Muslim community, sir? Please go and take your. Okay. So, Imam Muhammad Kabir is representing the Muslim community. Kindly please put there in the picture before taking your seat. Imam Muhammad Kabir. So it's for the presentation we're calling you. You make presentation that the panel will start their discussion. Then for the Christian community, we have Bishop, right? Bishop Peter Ogumeyo. Yeah, we do the dialogue will start after the presentation. So we are very sorry for even starting calling the panelists before they thank us. So our able presenters will be here. No, we are not. The panelists are going to be here. Yes, yes, sir. Now we are having the privilege to invite the representative of the Department of State Security Services, DSS. Department of State Security. Thank you, sir. You are most welcome to the podium. Can you please take the microphone over there and introduce yourself before you take your seats? Next is the representative of the Nigeria Police Force. Yeah, representing the Inspector General of the Police. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. The next one is the National Orientation Agency, NOA. Yes, madam, you are most welcome to today's conversation. Okay. Okay. So we are inviting as well representative of the Economic Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, to come over to the panel for the discussion. Thank you, sir. You are most welcome. And finally, we are inviting representative of Independent Commission with Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC. ICPC representative, the Iron Lady is here. So you are most welcome, madam, to join us in today's conversation. Now, the session is going to run as follows. We are going to start by taking our presentations from representatives of the Muslim community and the Christian community, which is going to stimulate the discussion that is going to be held later in the day. We are starting on this watch with Imam Muhammad Kabir, representing the Muslim community, to give us his talk. Yeah, Imam, Tafaddal Mashkura. Thank you, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise be to Allah, the Creator and Sustainer of the world. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the opportunity to witness today, as well as taking part of this program today. Oh Allah, we thank you for that. I want to stand on the already established protocols, but I have to thank the NTA. Of course, without NTA, there will be no upper hand education. You can talk and talk and talk at home or in the mosque or in the church. Only the few people that are there to hear. But with the NTA, everybody, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but across the globe, participating in this program. So we thank NTA
Recording in
this
progress.
very, very enlightening, let me call it, project. Before I started my paper, let me bring an incident that happened to me when I was organized by National Agency, around 2000. A journalist asked a question. He says, he is wondering why Nigerians, not only Nigerians, but Africans, are always talking about foreign religion, not the African religion. He means Christianity and Islam. To him, they are foreign to Africans. It happens I'm the only one to answer the questions. So I have to start with the three: the Islam, the Christianity, and the Judaism. And this is what I answered him, so that my very good friend can give me a word for that. I said, Mr. Journalist, let me confirm to you that these three religions have origin in Africa too. They are not only foreign, because to him, Judaism started from Israelites. That is the Israeli religion. And Christianity also the same. While Islam started from the Saudi Arabia. That's what he thinks. I say, yes, you are very much correct. But listen to me. Let me start from the Judaism. Moses is the originator of that. Let me ask, where was he from? Is he from the Israeli area or from Egypt? We all know that Moses was from Egypt. So where can we find Egypt? In Africa. So you can see the African can say, we own Moses. I said, okay, let me go to Jesus. He is old. You can see my father is laughing because he knows where I'm heading to. When he was 7 days old, where is he from? The mother took him from Jerusalem. In my life, I say from the Bethlehem to where? To Egypt. When he was 7 days old, to Egypt. And that is where he lived for years before coming back. So can he associate himself to Egypt? Of course, he has to. So the African also can say we owned Jesus. You see? Yes, Imam, you escaped that. But I wonder how you can connect Islam with Africa. I say yes, very, very fine. Abraham, when he came to Jerusalem, he passed through Egypt with his wife Sarah. But in Egypt, he had his wife, second wife in Egypt. That lady gave birth to his first son, Ishmael. And this is the grandfather of our Prophet Muhammad. So the African also can say, okay, so even Muhammad too is ours. This is how I answered the question. I said you can see the three divine religions have origin also from Africa. So we Africans can say all these religions are all ours. So they are not foreign to us. Now come to my paper. So, sorry. This paper titled Peaceful Conduct of 2023 General Election, the Islamic Perspective. This title mention is aimed to showcase on how best Nigeria can have peaceful, credible general election. Of course, this is possible and can be achieved through enlightenment, good understanding, and respect to the law of the land, as well as recognizing others' belief and respect it. Election is a process in which all citizens can participate in choosing their political leaders who the affairs of a particular Islam is an Arabic word which means peace. That's the meaning of Islam. That is why the fourth Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon. The name of Allah is As-Salam, the peace. So this word means peace. So Islam means peace. At the same time, Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dukhulu fi silmi kaffa wa la tattabi'u khutuwati shaytan. Meaning, all you who believe, enter into Islam completely and perfectly and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Not Muslims. Our enemy is Prophet of Islam says, Al-Muslim man salim al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. A Muslim is he whom everybody is free from the harm of his tongue and that of his hand. So, just to ensure that the meaning of Islam is peace, a Muslim is a person whom everybody is free from the harm of his tongue or hand. So a good Muslim may not harm anybody with his word or with his hand. This is prophetic hadith reported by Imam al-Bukhari. So, when people are free from your harm, that means you are peaceful. Therefore, Islam and peace is one and the same thing. Only that Islam is an Arabic word, while peace is an English. This is the only difference, but it means the same thing. So the term Islam means total submission to God. When God says do this, you will obey. If he says don't do this, you obey that command also. So as a Muslim, we have to pray 5 times daily. That's why we are praying 5 times daily. We were asked to live peacefully with one another. That's why we have to live peacefully. We were asked to respect each other. That's why we are respecting everybody, whether he's a man, woman, young, or whatever. As long as he's a human being, he has that respect. Peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. Allah in his mercy and power created mankind and made them into nations and tribes with a different color, language, and even make it for them to coexist peacefully. Allah says, يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. O you mankind, fear Allah, your Lord, who created you from one soul, Adam, and created from it its mates, Hawa, Eve, and from them both he created many men and women. So we are all from Adam, all of us, all human beings. I'm not talking to you in accordance with Charles Darwin, no. I'm talking to you in accordance with the Quran. So we are all from Adam and Eve. So imagine from one person, then the second person, and from the two, today we are almost 8 billion, according to the United Nations information. They said from 15th November this last year, they thought the number of human beings clocked at 8 billion. From one to that. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything. So if we are all from one, despite the fact that we speak different language, we practice different ideologies, different religions, we even have different ideas, but we are all from one source. So we have to coexist. Meaning we have to live together with full cooperation and understanding. Another verse says, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. Verily, the most noble of in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and aware. Quran 49 verse 13. The last another verse Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ واختلاف ألسنتكم وألوانكم إن في ذلك لآيات للعالمين. Meaning, and among his signs, the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and your colors. Indeed, in that are signs for those of knowledge. Right? So, God make me to follow this way. Here I am. I found my when I was kid, maybe that's not choice, but that is the God's choice. So God wanted this man to be an lecturer, this man to be the United States Embassy ambassador to Nigeria, to serve as the president of Nigeria, this man to serve the president of the United States of America, this man to serve as the king of Brunei or the king of or the president of France, whatever. This is how God wanted us to live in diversity, in peace, and Allah addressed Christians and Jews as people of the book. So, Quran says, الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم نزل عليك بالحق مصدقا لما وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل the letters, the Arabic alphabet. Allah says, there is no deity worthy of worship except Him. That is Allah la ilaha illallah. There is no deity worthy of worship except Him, Allah the Almighty, the ever living, the self-sustaining and protector of all that exists. It is He who sent down the book. He sent down the book, Anzal al-Kitab, Quran, to you, Muhammad, with truth, confirming that is وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل, confirming what came before it. That is, he sent down the Torah and the Injil.
What happened to the mic?
You can see. You can take away my.
No, this is a technical error.
So this is not part of my time.
It is. It was technical. Please. What happened to the mic? Uh-huh.
So this delay is not part of my time.
No, it's not. You take it back.
Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see in this verse of the Holy Quran, it's actually in Surah number 3, verse 2. Allah mentioned the 3 books here: the Quran, the Torah, and the Gospel. That is the Bible. So, Quran is very very clear that we have to increase, not in pieces. As people decided to live in pieces, doesn't work. Because the election will not go. We cannot go to the mosque, neither to the church. My very good brother, what we have the coronavirus. Christian Center has to be locked down. National Mosque has to be locked down. All the mosques and churches has to go on closure. Simply because of coronavirus. What if it is war? What will happen? Nobody will go to the church or the mosque. Everybody has to find a place to hide. So we live in peace. We have to live in peace. You heard what the general says. Of course, it is from the horse's mouth. Then we quickly go to the election. Election is a process in which every citizen in the country will participate in choosing the leaders who will manage the affairs of the country. And that can be traced from the Quranic verses. Let me bring this verse where Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Meaning, and those who have answered the call of their Lord Allah and established the regular prayers, and whose affair is determined by mutual consultation and among themselves, and from what we provide them, they spend. So the process of election is like a consultation by the government for the citizens to come together to voice their mind on whom they want to lead them. That's what I mean. So you can see it is related also from the Quran. This Quran 42 verse 38. Another verse, I have to leave some part. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Meaning, so by mercy from Allah, O Muhammad, you were lenient with them. And if you had been rude in your speech and harsh in heart, they will have this abandoned from about you. So pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult them in the matter. This is democracy. Consult them in the matter. So wherever you are going to have a matter that involves the entire nation, of course, you have to consult every Nigerian. So that is elections process, where everybody will make his own view through casting his vote to elect the leader of his choice. So you can see in this verse did not say vote for party A, B, C, D, up to Z. No. Vote with your own conscience. Vote for the interest of the nation. Vote for the interest of the entire humanity. That is what the verse is saying. Let me jump to another saying. During the period of Caliph Umar, after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, we had Abu Bakr. After him, we had Umar as the second leader after the Prophet. So Umar was injured by the armed man while praying in the mosque. So you see the atrocity is alone in the history of human beings. So Umar was injured by an armed man, unknown armed man. So when he was injured, they now brought him back home. He thought maybe that will be the end of his time. So he quickly formed a committee. Give them the mandate of electing somebody among them who will now take over the power from him. Because now he is incapacitated, so he cannot continue. He did not appoint on his own, no. He formed a committee, he said, go and elect a leader and bring it to me. So the committee arrives on two persons, Sayyidina Uthman and Sayyidina Ali. So they brought him the two. He said, I didn't say you bring the two names for me because I'm not going to have two leaders. I need one. Go and fish one out of the two. He now went back, regathered. They ran the election. Still, no clear winner. The second one, no clear winner. The third one, they were able to agree on Sayyidina Uthman. So that is what we have now. If the election is not clear, if we don't have clear winner, the INEC will run the second round. This is what happened during the time of Umar. They now have Uthman. Of course, after Uthman, the unanimous people now agree on Sayyidina Ali. So this is how it happens. So we in Nigeria, why can't we have peaceful election? Definitely, we are going to have peaceful general election, inshallah. We had it so many times, but you believe me, 2015's general election is a little bit different from that of 2011. Of course, 2019 is more peaceful than that of 2015. Of course, today is 2023. Inshallah, it will be peaceful. Because all of us here, we are talking to our people in the mosque, in the church, even in the market, wherever we are, to make sure that everybody in Nigeria operates with INEC, government, as well as the entire security agencies to make sure that we have peaceful, credible general elections. And we call on everybody to accept the outcome of the election. In every election, there must be a winner as well as the loser. But to me, even the loser is not a loser, because without the loser, there will be no winner. Yes, in the absence of loser, you don't have a winner. So everybody is a stakeholder to make sure that we have a peaceful and credible elections here in our country, so that we will make case not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but the entire world. Thank you very much.
So much enough. I know I'm talking of a very unpopular decision by stopping Imam. But you know, the religious leaders, unless you bring them, you put a stop to their talk, they are always harmonizing, and they can take the whole day speaking to us. Thank you so much, Imam, for raising this important point. You know, Imam started by reminding us the fact that Islam, going by its definition, means peace, and therefore it promotes peace at all costs. And then he takes us through his lecture to indicate who is a Muslim, that a Muslim is an ambassador of peace, is a person who doesn't harm anybody. Man salaman nas min adha. Then he talked about peaceful coexistence and delved into some issues of predestination, that some people are Muslims, others are Christians, others are others, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, he ended his discussion beautifully by telling us about election and its roots from Islamic perspective. And he anchors the discussion on the concept of shura, which shows that Islam and Quran encourage shura. And going by the shura concept, you need to consult people, you need to sound their opinion, and you need to get where they are now tilting toward in order to elect leadership. And he beautifully ended with the story of Caliph Umar, which shows flexibility in Islam, that Caliph Umar, unlike Caliph Abu Bakr, who appointed his successor, he set up an electoral college that at the end of the day come up with the leader for the Muslim Ummah. We are very grateful for these points, and I believe the panel is taking note of this, and they are going to elaborate further when we started our discussion. Now, time is not actually on our side, and I believe Bishop has a lot to say. I made the mistake of not telling the Imam that he has only 15 minutes. Now I'm going to tell Bishop in clear-cut terms, very categorical, that Bishop, we are going to give you 15 minutes to summarize your talk. So please come over to the podium and address us on this issue of peaceful, credible, and fair election from Christian perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the privilege. I want to thank the organizers for finding me worthy to speak on this very important topic. I will start by saying, to Christianity, election is not alien. It is not a new thing. But I want to title my own paper on peaceful coexistence in our diversity. But eventually the will of God will prevail in Jesus' name. But if we promote, the signal will be that God is interested in Nigeria, whichever way the election goes. Even if it goes to the other party, if another Fulani, for instance, become our president, and there is peace, it will also mean that anybody can be our president. Any religious person can be our president. Any Christian can be our president. And tomorrow now, it will be difficult for any pastor to come and say, vote because he's a Christian. They will say, no, this one we voted was a Muslim and he did well. Oh, this one we voted is a Christian and he did well. What is important is what they have to offer Nigerians. Religion of a candidate should not be the basis for our choices at the post-election that is coming, but their antecedents and commitment to the development of our dear country. Effect of bad governance is felt on all Nigerians, irrespective of their religion or ethnicity. Poverty has no religion. Poverty has no friend. So when we have bad leadership, all of us, Christians, Muslims, pagans, we suffer. We will not suffer in Jesus' name. Let me conclude with this, with the word of Sam Brownback that says, a democracy strives on diversity. Tyranny oppresses it. I want to believe that our diversity includes our religion, should be something that we harness together. We therefore need to be wise this time around and make wise choices in the forthcoming elections. We need peace in Nigeria and can't afford religious or civil war any longer, which ordinarily is always instigated by sentiment of religion or tribes. Thank you. God bless you.
For this question, I wanted to talk. I would like to make a clarification. Imam was assigned 15 minutes. The mistake I said I made was not informing him before he started giving his discussion. But he was given 15 minutes as the bishop was assigned, was allocated 15 minutes. So they are giving equal time. And we thank the bishop for keeping to the time. We are very grateful for talking in a very short period of time and addressing the issue squarely. Bishop started by addressing the issue from the point of view of peace, which he defined as absence of war. And all of us are for war. Nobody wants to be in a state of war, state of conflict, armed conflict. Now, he supported his position by making some biblical quotation that ended up by saying Jesus is a prince of peace. And therefore, whoever is not a peacemaker cannot be a good Christian. Then he came to discuss the issue of diversity, which is a hallmark of the God's creation. Now, God creates things in different shape, different colors, and of course, with different inclination. And now, he says we should consider this diversity as a source of strength rather than conflict. And he made an example of Lagos as a heterogeneous society, which is cosmopolitan in nature and which has development while it utilizes its diversity positively. Then he urged us to actually work toward achieving development within our diversity by respecting our differences and celebrating our commonality. Now, he ended up by telling us that 2023 election is providing an interesting, interesting scenario whereby whatever turns out to be the success at the end of the day, whoever becomes the leader is going to, falsify the claim that we are people that do not respect our diversity. Because we have a party that has a Muslim ticket, Christian Muslim ticket, Muslim Christian ticket, and so on and so forth. Whichever emerges as the leader at the end of the day is going to show that our people are so dynamic and they are so civilized to vote peacefully credibly and to establish peace within the polity. Thank you, Bishop, for raising these important points, and we are very grateful for this. This brings to an end the keynote session of this panel discussion. Now we are going to move into the panel discussion proper, where the key issues that have been raised in this presentation are going to be discussed. Our panelists are here. I have seen some of them busy taking notes as our lead speakers were delivering their speeches. Now we are coming to you in order to shed more light, throw more light on the issues that have been raised, and of course complement the discussion with issues that might not have been touched by the speakers. Do we start from the arbiter of the election, that is the INEC? You are the leaders, and I think you are going to drive this discussion. So, representative of INEC, may I invite you to address us for 5 minutes. Can we afford to give 5 minutes? Because we are ending this session by 3 o'clock. So we have about 2 hours to go. We gain it from the other part. So we are going to give the INEC 5 minutes to raise certain issue before we take some other stakeholders in that discussion. Yes, sir. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to start on the existing established protocol. I'm here to present the Honorable Presidential Commissioner of FCT, AL-HABIBIYYAH, who is unavoidably absent due to certain engagement in the office. The Commission, as an establishment of the law, specifically on 26 February 2022 last year, it rolled out a timetable of activities for the general election in 2023 with 15 items. And so far, it has successfully implemented 13 out of these activities. And the 2023 general election is its 7th consecutive election that the Commission is going to hold. And the enormous task ahead of the Commission involves that over 93,464,000 are registered voters were in 8,809 registration areas nationwide. Polling units. These are what the Commission is going to conduct in the next about 3 weeks to come. That 93 million voters is the whole number of registered voters in the whole of ECOWAS states. It means it's a huge task actually ahead of INEC. In INEC, we have 3 line of actions or process of elections. The pre-election withdrawal, during election and post-election activities. We have already publicized the notice of elections. We conducted party primaries. Campaigns have been monitored. We did a continuous voter registration for all 1 year. And at the moment, we are also issuing cards to prospective voters at various RA levels. And we've expanded our voter access to polling units. Initially, we had about 120,000 polling units, but because of the number has increased in size after 25 years, the Commission deems it necessary to increase the voter size, the voting polling units, which I explained that is about 176,846 at the moment. We also presented register of voters to other political parties. We have also started the recruitment exercise of over 1 million ad hoc staff that are going to participate in the election. We are going to train them subsequently in this coming weeks. Deploy them to various units and research areas as possible. INEC, in order to create a good environment for all of us to participate in this process, it has engaged from national level to local government level, have constituted a stakeholders forum where it invites all stakeholders that are going to be involved in the elections, be it the religious leaders, community leaders, CSOs, other non-governmental organizations, youth, women, and all other categories of people are involved in this stakeholders forum, which normally holds periodically at national, state, and local government level. Also, for the conduct of a peaceful exercise, the Commission also had what we call an interagency committee on security for elections, we call ICSES, which involve all the security organizations within a state or in the FCT. For us in the FCT, we have about 20 of these organizations that come together to discuss issues on how to conduct a peaceful election, which we have done last month in December. We had a meeting with all of them, and we're going to have another meeting for the elections. We are also going to train security personnel on the conduct of the election. We are for peaceful election. INEC, as a body, cannot conduct an election in an atmosphere where there's violence at all, and it cannot do it alone. And within the context of this, we are also improving our systems and process of election. You can see, like we said, we have conducted about 6, we are going to have the 7th, which is going to be the best out of all the other 6 that we have presented. They are hopefully by the grace of God, because of the introduction of technological interventions that you can see. So far, we are going to use 2 major things that now have the process become so transparent. We are going to use beavers, as we have done in some upcycle elections in AKT, Oshun, and Anambra, and FCT, and council elections. The beavers are game changers. And also, we have introduced what we call the INEC result viewing portal, where people can see the result real time at the time it is for people to produce.
Okay, we have, I'm not going to stop INEC here, so they're coming back to you. And apart from maybe having a second bite at the chain, we are going to have interactive session with the audience after the break, after the lunch break. So thank you so much, INEC, for the statistics that you have given us and the preparation you shared with us that you are going to conduct the election in a peaceful manner. Now, it's the time for me to invite representative of the Nigerian police to tell us what preparation are they making in order to maintain peace and security before, during, and post-election time. This is their responsibility. We just want to hear it from the horse's mouth, and so that we can have some assurances that we can go out peacefully and freely to cast our votes.
We have so much in our hands. And we have no time to actually elaborate on things with the IGP, this man, the fact that he has put in place in terms of the 2023 general election. But I will assure you that the police are charged towards this particular election, in the sense of training and training of our men. The IGP has put so many things in order, like the training of 10,000 policemen to have a robust strength and workforce to augment the election. Apart from that, they also put in place some techniques so that crime be perpetrated towards the election, before, during, and after the election will be taken. held by prosecution. And there's going to be watertight security also, which we gear towards information of life and property. And I want to assure this particular house too, that the police will not just hold up their arms, think crime being committed during the election. A good one is vote buying. The first time I heard that word, vote buying, I was asking myself, is it a kiosk or a mall whereby we say we want to go and buy vote? But at the end of the day, I believe that the IDP has put some techniques and strategy to make sure that issue of vote buying does not come in place. Now back to the main focus of the election training and training. You be aware that November 2022, there was a collaboration with the Matchmaker International, a security consultant company, organized a retreat with over 162 senior officers, tagged the imperative of Nigeria Police Strategy Plan for Peaceful Election. These are parts of ways the IGP has put in place for a peaceful election by synergizing with so many agencies so that we know the do's and don'ts, so that we know the level of criminality, know the level of who to talk to. But then we should agree that there are some also states that are not vulnerable to this particular election malpractice. But then some are tense. But at the end of the day, the provision of the law is settled and work according to the law. The IGP also put in place the peace accord by the gladiators, the two gladiators. The people then come together to look at peace is what all prepared for. We listen to our traditional fathers, our pledges, telling us about peace, peace, peace. Peace is what we want. We are peacemakers by calling. We are peacemakers by every orientation. So we want to put a situation whereby the police will be dragged into the political crisis or saying the police did this or that. So we beg the electorate to please and call and push for this particular piece so that at the end of the day, we have a successful election. Then the partaking of the election to say that maybe the electorates are not allowed to vote is what the IGP also put in place. We are not armed. The armed guards will stay very far away from the particular polling booth. But then there is a problem. The problem we say that particularly that have been going on to our traffic now is the issue of party agents. Party agents. How many party agents do we want? How many do we need? That particular day, you see somebody interchanging a particular tag, saying it's party agent A. At the end of the day, you see another person, say party agent. So please, we won't want to see that one, or want to understand that we're a party agent that is not relying on a particular party. Like the INEC said, the issue of incident form will not be there. And if the issue of incident form is not there, then meaning you don't have plans for any incident. And we don't help us in this way. Now let me come to the issue of focus. If we are focused in this country, if we know exactly what we are doing, I don't think we need the issue of riot or the issue of maybe canvassing for vote on that particular day. Our homework has been done. So please, our brothers and advise that go back there, advise our brothers and sisters, our friends, that the police we are charged and we are ready to conduct the election security-wise. Thank you.
We are very grateful to the Nigerian Police Force. You can see how ready they are for the election, and a lot of programs they put in place in order to ensure that the election is peaceful, credible, and fair. Especially one of the issues that we need to take home is the issue of peace accords, where the political gladiators will be brought together in order to sign the peace accord that they are not going to instigate through their thoughts any form of violence or conflict during the conduct of the election. I think this is quite commendable, and we appreciate you, the Nigerian Police, for this. Thank you, sir. Now, it's my honor to invite the other twin security operative, and that is the DSS, Department of State Security, to come and tell us what they are doing in order to complement the effort of the Nigerian Police Force to ensure we have a peaceful, fair, and credible election. You are welcome, sir. You have 5 minutes.
I respectfully rest on the already established protocol. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Director, DSS FCT Command, on the state of preparedness of the service to ensure a fully fair, peaceful, fair election. Ensuring the free, fair, credible, and peaceful polls that will in turn guarantee legitimacy and popular support of the winners requires a collective and sustained commitment of all stakeholders. I therefore commend all our efforts thus far. Nothing good comes easy, but with faith and strong resolve, surely together we will carry on with a spirit of sportsmanship, provide a level playing field for all contenders, and ensure a free and fair contest and declare clear winners. To this end, the DSS is combat ready and fully prepared to support the electoral umpire, INEC, to provide an enabling environment and secure the process. To this end, before the elections, we carried out a post-mortem based on previous elections were conducted to identify all areas of lapses and lessons learned in terms of logistic challenges, and to review the provisions of the electoral law stroke processes. And we carry out assessment of the threats, stroke opportunities, and we make adequate recommendations to all the relevant stakeholders towards strengthening the electoral process. During the election proper, we shall continue to engage with strategic stakeholders and ensure effective liaison and collaboration with all relevant stakeholders to ensure effective coverage and monitoring of the process, continual assessment of all the areas of grievances to threats, issues such as the relation of constituencies, polling units, registration areas, internal party democracy, and identify all volatile areas to flashpoints. And we shall continue to deploy our conflict resolution mechanisms and perception management. We are concerned with the issue of fake news and hate speeches, which we shall continue to combat. And to this end, we will continue to secure all key and vulnerable points and critical assets to ensure that we secure the movement of men and materials of INEC, including both sensitive and non-sensitive electoral materials. We shall, in collaboration with all other security agencies, ensure enforcement of movement restrictions. We shall conduct offensive and defensive actions against all forms of threats to the peaceful conduct of the polls. And we shall ensure peaceful collation and transmission of results from polling units to the ward, local government, state, and federal collation centers. We shall continue to monitor reactions to the announcement of results and deploy our tactic teams where necessary to prevent breakdown of law and order. After the election, we shall ensure that all of electoral offenders arrested are prosecuted so that they can be excluded from the next season of elections. We shall monitor closely public opinions and reactions in the media space, both the mass media and the social media, and we shall also follow closely with all post-election litigations. And we shall ensure effective liaison with relevant stakeholders, including traditional rulers, religious leaders, for post-election perception management, and to ensure the protection and preservation of our critical national assets. As winners are declared, we shall ensure that we have protective security of all political office holders to ensure the deepening of our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm committed with this program because there are a lot of things to share with us. We may have time to come back to sir. Thank you so much, Department of State Security, for this arrangement. We can hear them very well, loud and clear, that they are making all the necessary preparation to ensure free, fair, and peaceful election come February 2023. Right from the beginning, they did the postmortem in order to identify area of security lapses and make the necessary recommendation, which has been done. And I believe all the legislative actions that need to be taken must have been taken. Then they promised to continue with engaging the strategic and key stakeholders during the conduct of and after the conduct of the election. And they also already identified the volatile and flash areas, and they are monitoring such kind of areas closely in order to postpone any breach of peace. We believe this is very important. And also important, so important and fundamental is the issue of fake news. You know, these fake news bring a lot of confusion and it excites crisis within the society. So the DSS now is telling us that they are making all efforts to ensure that the fake news and hate speeches are controlled within the society before, during, and even after the election. And now the security of sensitive and other electoral materials, they told us that they are going to make sure that these materials are well protected so that they reach our polling unit safely. Apart from this very interesting, the DSS told us that they are prepared to conduct offensive and defensive action in order to ensure that there's peaceful election. And you know that what that means in the security language. And thereafter, they are going to monitor the process of collation of results, transmission of results, and up to the point of prosecution of offenders and monitor the litigation, post-election litigation. Thank you so much, DSS, for making this arrangement, and thank you for sharing with us so that we will know what is going on within the security operations. It is now the turn of EFCC. Let us just continue, complete the cycle. We have heard it from the Nigeria Police. We heard it from the DSS. Now EFCC, they are going to tell us how relevant they are to the conduct of peaceful election in our country. May I have the privilege of inviting the representative of the EFCC to come and share what they have in store for us in the next 5 minutes. You are most welcome to the podium, sir. And you have 5 minutes to share with the audience what you have. And the audience are busy taking notes, mental, note and physical notes that they are going to engage you with after this panel discussion. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to start on the existing established protocols. I bring a greeting from the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, Mr. AL-HABIBIYYAH, who is also very deeply and seriously committed to the peaceful conduct of the elections. At the level of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, the Commission is determined to ensure the integrity of the electoral processes, to ensure credibility, transparency, and to tackle all forms of electoral fraud, like vote buying, vote selling, or demonetization of the electoral process, and everything that may detract from the integrity of the electoral processes. As an anti-corruption agency, the EFCC is equipped to ensure that every necessary process, rule, and regulation of the elections are complied with. For us to ensure peace, we must also ensure that there is no manipulation, there is nothing that will trigger any form of violence. So, to this end, any form of electoral irregularity, malpractice, any compromise of the electoral process, the Commission is equipped enough to tackle all of this. In all the 14 zonal commands of the EFCC, we have our officers on ground that will monitor all the different processes and stages of the electoral of the conduct of the election. So, as an anti-corruption agency, we are ready and we are prepared and we are committed, and we have all the necessary resources to ensure that the right thing is done before, during, and even after the elections. It will interest you to know that in the previous election that we have had, several arrests were made in respect of both vote buying, vote selling, and all manner of irregularity, in the electoral process. Some of them have even been charged to court. So it is a very serious thing to ensure that the right thing is done, so that there will be justice and the right type of people that are elected by the electorate actually emerge. But for us to do this and to do it very creditably, we will need the cooperation of Nigerians from all walks of life. We desire the cooperation of whistleblowers, people that will give us information about what is happening in their neighborhood. We cannot say that you can do it all alone. We need the involvement, the cooperation, and the commitment of every Nigerian to ensure that people that are trying to compromise the electoral process, they are brought out and appropriate measures are taken to ensure that we have a very fair and free election. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think from this brief discussion of EFCC, we can see the nexus, the connection between electoral malpractices and economic sabotage. And that's what makes EFCC relevant to the whole processes. Thank you so much for sharing those information with us, and we really appreciate. Now, to conclude and to complete the anti-graft cycle, I think it's time now for us to invite the ICPC representative to come and tell us what they are going to do and what to make them relevant to the electoral processes and how they are going to help us in attaining free, fair, and credible, as well as peaceful election in February 2024.
Good afternoon, the moderator. I wish to stand on the already established protocol. I'm here to represent the Honorable Chairman, ICPC. I feel highly honored to have been invited to speak to you on this all-important topic on the Interfaith Peace Summit on elections. As the country's premier anti-graft agency and member of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, the ICPC has in place measures to ensure a corruption-free and peaceful process before, during, and after the 2023 elections. The ICPC is empowered under Section 6A and B of the Act 2000 to investigate and prosecute cases of corruption of which bribery, gratification, and abuse of office are species. No doubt, these are the kinds of offenses that are committed during elections, besides the other subheads of similar offenses provided in the Electoral Act 2022. In its collaboration with INEC and other relevant stakeholders, the Commission participates in the monitoring of continuous voters registration exercises across the country, including the FCT. It will deploy its personnel a week before the election to embark on surveillance and identification of flashpoints across the states of the Federation. ICPC also involved its operatives in monitoring of the distribution of permanent voters' cards. The Commission also participated in the close monitoring of previous elections and off-season elections in some parts of the country, such as Anambra, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, and Osun states. In Anambra in particular, some arrests were made and persons involved were investigated and prosecuted in due course. During the election, the ICPC will deploy its operatives across the country to synergize with other security and law enforcement agencies and relevant stakeholders to monitor the elections and ensure that it is speech-free. The ICPC operatives will check any electoral corrupt infraction and malpractices, be it in form of vote buying and selling, manipulation of electoral process by officials, and underage voting, etc. This will be done using some monitoring devices such as surveillance cameras, body-worn cameras, miniature recording devices, etc. As key advocates of national ethics and integrity, the Commission will be at the forefront because it has to stand by what it preaches, and that is integrity. After the elections, the Commission will act according to its beliefs and values at all times and in all situations, and those found wanting of breaching the electoral process will be brought to justice in line with the Commission's Enabling Act. Despite the preparedness and measures put in place by the ICPC to monitor the forthcoming general elections, the process of election may still be confronted with the following challenges: language barrier, inadequate knowledge of operational environment, lack of adequate intelligence on vote bias, insecurity, inadequate funds, inadequate manpower, and inability to arrest sponsors of vote buying. In conclusion, I wish to assure this gathering and members of the general public that despite these enumerated challenges, the Commission will not leave any stone unturned to ensure that the 2023 election is not only corruption-free, but free, fair, credible, and peaceful, working in synergy with INEC and other law enforcement agencies and stakeholders. Thank you.
Considering this perspective from the ICPC, Imam directed me to make an announcement that a register is going around within the audience, we should please endeavor to register our name and account number in the manner it appears in the participation register here, because they are going to pay us stipend for our transportation at the end of the day. So the name should really be in line with what we have registered. Otherwise, the payment will go to be affected. So please take the register that is going around, it is there within the audience, and make sure that you register your name. Thank you, ICPC, for exposing the corrupt aspect of the electoral processes and how you intend to deal with it, or how you have been dealing with it right from the previous elections and the ones that have been conducted in some states of the Federation. And I think we are more educated by listening to you this afternoon. Now, I would like to also recognize the presence of the representative of the Controller General of our National Correctional Services, who has not joined us here on the high table, but would like to invite him to join us. And at the end of the day, maybe when we take the presentation from the lower National Orientation Agency, we are going to listen to him for 2 or 3 minutes. Now, in the term of the National Orientation Agency, I will have the privilege of inviting Madam to come and share what they have about the voters' education. Yes, about the voters' education and enlightenment, which is the mandate of NOAA, how they are now prosecuting the mandate. And I would like to also specially recognize Madam for being the first to arrive at this venue. They are here as early as 9 o'clock, and she has remained faithful and stayed patiently with us. Thank you, Madam, for giving to the time. We are grateful.
Thank you, moderator. This is because we have a culture called do the right thing, keep to time. He gave us 9 a.m. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I plead to stand on the already existing protocol. My name is Ebelo Koko. This is Ebelo Koko, and I'm here to represent the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Dr. Garba Abari, who have been here today, but because he's attending another important state function, so he's asked me to come and present his paper. And it's on NOAA's preparedness towards the 2023 general elections. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this gathering, and I sincerely appreciate AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society for inviting me. I am particularly glad that the National Orientation Agency is obviously having many well-meaning Nigerians contributing towards ensuring 2023 general elections are peaceful and credible. I therefore commend the Islamic Society and their partners for the efforts and commitment to this notable cause. As we all know, the Independent National Electoral Commission is in charge of the conduct of elections and therefore has been working with stakeholders to put everything in place to ensure the conduct of the 2023 general elections are credible. National Orientation Agency, as part of the stakeholders, has the task of ensuring that citizens are adequately sensitized about the elections, enlightened about the procedure of the process, and sufficiently mobilized to participate throughout the electoral process, while conducting themselves in an acceptable manner. Based on this, the agency has been working to ensuring that every electorate understands the importance of elections, their civic responsibility, as well as the need for them to contribute to the success of the elections. Let me say here that the agency is continuously working towards ensuring that the country as a whole is peaceful, knowing full well that there cannot be a peaceful election if there is no peace in the country. Therefore, the agency has a flagship program tagged Building a People of Peace, through which we have been holding meetings with various groups to engender peace in the land. It may interest you to know that the agency is equally having interfaith-based interface to achieve this. As part of efforts to ensure peaceful election, 2023 general elections, The agency commenced its voter sensitization program at the national level by engaging the executive of the various political parties in a summit-backed political party summit on violent elections. It was held on the 6th of October 2022 and was chaired by APAC chairman, Engineer Yabagi Sani. It was aimed at discouraging political thuggery and encouraging issue-based campaign devoid of hate speech so as to ensure peace. On the aspect of citizen sensitization, the agency is continuously working to create awareness about INEC timetable so that the citizenry, especially at the grassroots, will be well informed and adequately participate actively as such towards the 2023 general elections. The agency was engaged in sensitizing and mobilizing eligible citizens to register during the continuous voter registration exercise carried out by INEC in 2022. Active participation of well-informed citizens in the electoral process, we must know, is essential to having peaceful election. Furthermore, sensitization of the electorate is ongoing as we speak. As the agency's community orientation and mobilization officers are COMOs in the 774 local government areas around the Federation are carrying out programs to discourage eligible voters from engaging in acts that will jeopardize the credibility of the elections, such as vote buying and selling, political thuggery, violence, to shun violence before, during, and after the elections. Stakeholders forum is organized by the state and local government areas by the agencies to assure citizens of the commitment of stakeholders, especially law enforcement agencies and INEC, to providing enabling peaceful environment while educating electors on the Electoral Act and proper conduct at the polls, among others. Likewise, the NUA COMOs are always in attendance at other state forums, for other stakeholders forums organized by INEC and concerned bodies like this gathering we have today to encourage peaceful election. In addition, the agency, apart from airing jingles against vote buying and selling, as well as promotion of issue-based campaign on radio and television stations, also produces and distribute flyers on how to vote right. Furthermore, the agency is using its social media platforms to send messages that will foster peace, successful conduct of the 2023 general election. In conclusion, let me assure you that the agency is doing its best to instill positive attitude in the electorate so they are orderly on election day and are not engaged by the political class to foment violence before, during, and after the elections. The agency is also working to ensure that the election is still inclusive by engaging women and people with disability to ensure that they are adequately represented in the electoral process and governance. Nevertheless, the agency is still open to any partnership that will foster peaceful conduct of the forthcoming general elections. I therefore call on every well-meaning Nigerian to join in this campaign. Thank you for listening, and God bless Nigeria.
That's why I allow you. Okay, Madam read a prepared address from her boss, and she said she has 1 or 2 words to share with us. So please do bear with that, and let us patiently listen to her.
Thank you very much. When the Imam was talking, he made mention of the fact that he became Imam by act of God and all that. And I agree with him. I want to say that, first of all, we are humans before we are whatever it is we are. We are born into Nigeria. You don't want to be a Nigerian. You just find yourself here. And it's after you are born that you adapt the where you find yourself. Like if you don't know how you become Muslim, you don't know how you become Christian, you don't know how you become Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. First of all, you are human. You are born a human being before you grow, and then you adapt the culture and religion of where you find yourself. And we can't kill ourselves because of religion or ethnicity or wherever we found ourselves. We should be human first. And being human is caring for each other, looking out for one another. We are always in a hurry in Nigeria. And I ask, where are we hurrying to? What happened to when our brother skipper, oh, you're going straight on this way, and somebody is putting a pointer that he wants to go to that way, and stop and allow this person to go? What happened to when we're growing up and the child misbehaves and everybody there condemns what's going on and everybody trains the child, not one person? Now, if you try to question a child, the mother comes out and says, is he your child? What happens to our humanity? Please, we should try and bring back our humanity. Thank you.
Not only that while appreciating our differences, we should respect the humanity of us, knowing that we are first and foremost human before we become whatever we are in terms of the differences of religion, tribes, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. We are quite appreciative of this, madam. Our representative of the National Correctional Service, sir, please, do you have one or two words to share with the audience before we open the floor for other members of the audience? Thank you, sir. We really appreciate your presence. And when we finish, you stay with us here.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The chairman has stand to align with the moderator. I felt that when we change our method, we don't do service.
We are very sorry about this big stuff. Yes. We are So we sincerely apologize for that commission, sir, but we are now making amendment to the panel, and you are included. You are hereby included, sir. Okay, the amended budget is demanded. Yes. No, this is the old budget. We are very sorry for giving you the unamended budget. Yes, sir.
Please, your apologies, please. I'm here to represent the Control General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Haile Nababa, FCIMC, NFR, MNI. The role of the Nigerian Correctional Service in the electoral process is as mission. We've been contributing very well. In fact, we have 3 zonal offices: the national headquarters, the zonal office, and then the 36 states, including FCT. And all have been well mobilized and started. In fact, we have what we call Control General's Thursday lectures, where all the staff nationwide are told on the importance of the coming election. In the correctional service and procedure centers, we have the NGOs, faith-based organizations, and other religious bodies. It's so serious that when they come to visit us on Thursday, there's a particular place to just cage them, and then we give them that awareness on the coming election at all levels. So that is what we are doing now. Then finally, I want to say that as I talk to you, when we are coming for this verification by tomorrow, there is a particular note that the CG has sent to all the unit heads to mobilize all the other subordinate staff under them to go for the final election for the coming election. So we want to assure you that the role of the Nigerian Correctional Service is collaborating, synergizing, reception, and correction of those that will violate the electoral process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Commissioner Services. You know, they are very important to the electoral process because they are violators of the electoral regulations and rules. And these electoral offenders are usually taken to the prison, correctional service, I beg your pardon, correctional facilities in order to get them corrected. And these are the people that are going to receive it. So we need to hear the preparation they are making in order to take care of such kind of situation. Usually, after the election or during the election, you know, you have the multitude of offenders taken to the correctional services, the tribunals, the courts that are going to sentence the electoral offenders. They are going to send them to prison in order to put to the correctional facilities in order to put them solved. So that's why they are very important and they are key stakeholders in ensuring peaceful and free and fair election in Nigeria. Thank you, sir, for sharing this information with us, especially the Comptroller General, you know, usual periodic discussion with the members of his command of the election and electoral processes. Thank you very much about that. Now, looking at our agenda, after the panel discussion, we're supposed to go on recess for lunch, but actually we are not going to do that. We are amending the schedule. Do bear with us so that we will not keep you on suspense. We believe members of the audience, they have a lot to contribute as well. The panel is before you, and we want you to engage with them through an interactive process. Now we are going to open the floor for interactive discussion. If you want to contribute, you want to ask a question, you want to make a comment, let me see your hand so that I assign number to you, and we take those that we have identified, thereby, thereafter we call it a day, and perhaps go home much earlier than we anticipate. So any person willing to contribute? Yes, sir, you are number one. One. Madam, you are number two. Please remember your number. I'll be calling the number, sir. Over there, you are number three. Yes, my friend, you are number four. Any other contributor? Yes, sir. 5. Okay, let's take this first round of 5. Okay, 6, sir. You are number 6. We are going to take this thereafter. We go back to the panelists in order to make their comment on their contribution. What I intend to do is to take the whole of these 6 I identified. They will come one after the other to make their contribution. Thereafter, members of the panel that are relevant to the cost issues raised are going to reply to them. And anybody who has any contributory information, explanatory information, can add it to whatever was said about the issue that is being raised. Number 1, sir. May I invite you to the podium because I didn't see the mobile mic going on. So please do bear with us to be coming quickly, and number 2 should get ready before we finish. Then we take you as number 2. Thank you, sir.
I stand on the existing protocol. My comment is directed towards the government and in particular to the law enforcement agencies. Now, we are religious people. Many of us here are people from the religious dimension of the society. And from the presentation of the Imam and that of the... All right, my name is Reverend Father Emmanuel Namba from the Catholic Church. From the presentation of the Imam and that of the Archbishop, you have been told that even our own scripture enjoin us to be subject to the government. The Archbishop referred to Romans chapter 13 verse 1, where Christians were enjoined to be subject to the authority. And the Imam made mention of many others. I just wish to add one. The Surah An-Nisa, that's chapter 4 of the Quran, verse 59, where it says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasula wa ulil amri minkum. Obey God, obey the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obey all those who have been given authority over you. The problem why you people don't succeed, the government, is that you allow religion to overwhelm you. A Muslim commits a crime, you don't want to do it. You say, hey, how would it? Probably an archbishop commits a crime or a man commits a crime. You say, how would the Muslims feel if I touch him now? And then if it's bishop, how would the Christians react? And you don't do anything. As long as you continue with that frame of mind, religious violence and religious bigotry will continue, particularly with reference to this election. I have seen religious leaders making comments, inflammatory comments, and then nothing is done. You are afraid. So I just want to challenge you to do your duty. Do not allow religion to overwhelm you, else our country will be in shambles.
Thank you so much, Father, and especially for that beautiful quotation from the Holy Quran. I think that's how it should be, and I believe the IG is going, the representative of the IGP is going to give a repeating answer when the time comes. Number two, Madam, you take the podium.
Good afternoon. I really appreciate this kind of a program to enlighten our people in time of election like this. But for me personally, as if we've not been having election in this country the way I feel, I was so scared because of things that is happening around. My own point of view is this type of question to all the personnel. Because the last time, 2019, 2011, my name is Ronka Oshudia from Voice of Nigeria. We went out to monitor the election. There's so many things that is happening. When one of our personnel was talking in terms of vote buying, vote selling, the underage voting, something that is happening like that. INEC officials, they knew when they are registering all these underage people, what are they doing? How are they going to come this issue? In the public, during the election day, the personnel are there. When you see these politicians bringing money, the women will line up, be giving them 2,000. If the 2,000 solve their problem, and the personnel are there. So what are they doing to make sure that this thing is not coming up because it's not helping, it's causing more problems? I pray that in this world you will do something that will change the situation of this country. Because by the time that we neglect our duty not to do what it's supposed to do, we can't get out of this mess.
Thank you so much, Madam. We are very grateful. You know, how I wish the INEC man is here while she was raising these issues of vote buying, underage voting, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, I believe the DSS and other operatives are here within the panel. They are going to respond accordingly. And when the INEC also comes, they are going to tell us what arrangement they are making against this kind of electoral practices. Number three is already here. Thank you, sir, for coming. The name, the affiliation, and then you make your point.
Thank you, sir. My name is Delia from PhD. I work with the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. My comment is just very simple, and I think it has to do with vote buying also. I've observed election in this country, and I think there is no state that I've not been to. You know, when we have off-season election, there used to be militarization of the community, the whole state. We will see RPG moving around, you know, by the security agencies. But when we are having general election like this, most times the capital might be militarized, but the communities where observers can't reach, maybe you hardly see just one security personnel in a polling booth. My recommendation is this: if it is possible for the personnel to deploy more agencies, more security personnel to polling booths at our various communities where observers can't reach, and I'm sure we will be able to reduce, not eradicate, the concept of the use of vote buying in this election. I think that has to do, but when the policeman said they are going to eradicate. It's not possible, essentially. But we can reduce to the barest minimum the issue of vote buying. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think he's providing partly the solution to the issue raised by Madam. One of the suggestions is for the security personnel that are being highly concentrated in the capitals and the urban areas to the detriment of the rural areas. They should have a rethink so that vote buying that are taking place in those remote areas that not within the radar of the international observers should be taken care by our security personnel. Our number 4 man is already on his way, and I hope he's going to announce his name as usual and make his point in 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I am Victor Mbaka. I'm a member of the Nigerian Union of Journalists. Yes. When the man from the Correctional Service was making his speech, he observed that the Correctional Service was not on the list. And I'm here to observe that the NUJ is not on the list. And the media is a critical stakeholder in democracy and in any country. That's one. The other thing being the Reverend Father, when he was making his speech, he spoke about the discriminatory attitudes. And he made reference to what would be people's reactions if a bishop committed an offense or if an imam committed an offense. And I want to say that that very attitude is a big offense, it's a big problem for the country, because that has kept us where we are today. We tend to overlook what a particular part of the society is doing, because it's either this person who has done this thing is a southerner, or this person who has done this thing is a northerner. Therefore, the southern people will not condemn his attitude or actions. What's the question? And I want to say finally that the security operatives, police and all that, should be mindful of the people they send into the field. Because in the past elections, it was observed that some of their operatives helped in competing for politicians. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm not going to say that, but in any case for NUJ, we really appreciate that point, and we apologize for not having them on the panel. It's just an oversight. NUJ is a critical stakeholder in this kind of peace summit, because we talk about the fake news, we talk about the hate speech. All these are being propagated by the journalists. So you need to have journalists engage in this kind of processes in order to have credible, free and fair, as well as peaceful election. We noted this, and we're going to take some corrective measure. I guess next time we're going to have the summit. Now, our contributor number 5 is on his way, and I hope, sir, you are going to, as outlined by the protocol, state your name, your institutional affiliation, and then you make your point. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dada Marcus, Reverend. I'm representing Ekwatekan. I'm also AMAC chairman. I want to draw our attention on two things. God cannot lower his standard because of any man. So I believe God is God. Don't be afraid. He is in control. Let's do the right thing. That's all. And also, it's not easy for you to do the right thing. After he will join some people. They will tell you, let's do it this way. Or they will share some things. If you are not part of them, you don't get it. Even if you get it, you are not one of the initiators, you will not get it. Even if you get it, how much are you going to get it? Please prepare yourself, face the music, do the right thing. Even if nobody will give you any rewards, I believe God will reward you. I pray that God will help us to understand the gravity of this election or what is going to happen. But so many things will happen. People will come with the weapons, they will chase you, they will pursue you, they will harass you, and so on. But if you stand on your ground, I believe God will deliver us. And by the end of this election, after the election, we'll have a full course to glorify the name of the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Reverend, draw our attention to the fact that we need to be men of integrity. You know, integrity is doing the right thing for the sake of being right, not for being because you are being punished by the Nigerian police or the DSS or somebody is watching over you. But just because you feel it is gentlemanly actually to be right, to do the right thing. So do the right thing in all circumstances, and God will be with you. So this is the point he raised, and I believe this enforces the first issue that was raised for the Nigerian police to address. I believe the representative of IG, when he comes to address his point, is going to include this issue in his elaboration. Now, number 6 contributor is coming, and I think he's the last one. After that, we ask the panel to respond, and if time permits, we take another round of contributors. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Abdurrahman Ibrahim, representing the Association of Northern Nigerian Students. I think when we are talking about the issue of having a peaceful election, as well as fighting all the things that are affecting the success of an election, I think we should give focus, most especially to the youth and the grassroots. I think the INEC, as well as the National Orientation Agency, should focus on orienting youth, most especially youth in the tertiary institutions, on the importance of voting, as well as fighting anything that would lead to the election to be unsuccessful. On our own capacity as a student body, what we are doing is soon lack of a kind of sensitization across the institutions within the northern Nigeria, which will start next week. And like it here at the University of Abuja, we believe if youth and the tertiary institutions can be sensitized, definitely when they get to the larger society, they will be able to sensitize the other ones at the grassroots. So with this, I would like to call on the attention of the INEC as well as the National Orientation Agency to focus on orienting the youth, either at the tertiary institutions, secondary schools, as well as those that are not into the academic ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Osman, from Northern Nigeria students. I think that's another big condition on our part, because we're supposed to have the Nigerian students as part of the panel. Oh, they didn't come, but he just came on his own. So, Abdurrahman, you are here as a part of the Nigerian students, whatever, that we have invited. So, thank you so much for raising this issue. And I believe the focus is supposed to be as well on the youth, because the youth need to be engaged at the grassroots, because they are the actual foot soldiers that are doing all that is being done during the electioneering processes. Now, we are coming back to the panel, and I think we start with the IGP. IGP, you are the representative of the IGP. You may elect to remain seated if you want, and if you want, you can come to the podium actually, so that you reply to the issues that are relevant to the security matters that have been raised by the commentators. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sister and Assistant Politician. Let me start with that of our Reverend Father. We are not afraid to do our job. And it's just that the country we are today, we preach peace. We are not employed for war. So when it comes to the issue of discussion, I want us to understand that discussion. A good example. On journey towards, I was Commander 75 PNF Ogun, and I saw a Reverend Father's vehicle as in a type of but then I never wanted to stop because of what we all know is happening in the region. But then I make it second thought and I stopped. And I asked my boys to take over the surroundings. But let's assume that particular Red Father was fake, with due respect to himself. What would be my fate? Now, God forbid, anything will happen. Some folks here will say he's too agile, he's inquisitive. What does he want to do? So, Father, we are not afraid to do our job, but I'm just telling you there's discretion, even in the church. Thank you so much. Now, what is the face of the police? The face of the police to the general public. I'm from Edo State, and I would say, I believe Edo State is the cradle of black civilization, the icon of the black wall. All right, by that one, we have so many videos. They say the senior son is always the God's way. And being the senior son, in terms of security, when it comes to elections, whatever important for us, we take. But at the end of the day, I bet you will achieve. The IGP is strongly standing on a particular strategy to make sure this election is a success. What am I saying so? I reiterated on the training and training of our men, so that we have a good behavior and conduct, so we're going to find one, two. Then for the media, I will say we are friends. In the sense that whatever we do as policemen, we want to investigate for publication. Because there are many statements. Anything police does is always a problem. I don't know why it's a problem. We have gone to so many foreign nations. We have been to other countries too for seminar. We see how they change the police. But here in Nigeria, I don't know what is wrong, but I believe with this Abrahamic seminar, we need to understand that our pledges make us understand that whether we for no uniform, we are brothers and sisters. But then, I think we make amends for ourselves because you see, the adage of in every 12 there's a Judah, and I believe in Ella and all pastors too. We have our bad heads, but at least if we have 95% on the good heads, we'll make it better. Then I'll see this opportunity to say the power that be. Who are these power that be? You and I. I was a regional police officer in a particular state, and there was an accident case. Fine and good, we were about charging that case to court. But who are the powers that be? You said you're my friend, or friend, or relatives who always call you to say, just assist. And when you assist, That is when the police always have a problem. But at the end of the day, we are talking about elections. We put our hearts together. The idea has tried in 5%, so we are not too good 100%. Don't give us that particular praise. We give it to ourselves. The idea is prepared, well prepared. As I told you earlier, we are charged. We are not charged. We are charged for election. Thank you. Okay, finally, the issue of the rural area, we covered it because we have the commands, we have the area commands, we have the divisions and the outposts. So I believe, if I say the truth here, no matter how big a village or small a village is, there's always an outpost. So the condition of strength of manpower is being drawn all over. Even this presidential election we're talking about, those enforced headquarters, the institutions, the education institutions, and other cooperatives that are not key to general duties, as you all know, are being posted to those areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think that will satisfy Mr. Elias and will allay his fear that it's not only the urban areas that are going to be covered security-wise, but rural areas and other remote places are going to be taken care of by the Nigerian police and other security agencies here present. The next question that was raised, and I think that needs attention of perhaps DSS, ICPC, and the INEC is the issue of vote buying and underage, voting. I don't know from where we are going to start. Is it the DSS, ICP? Yes, sir, from the DSS. Let us know how you are how you intend to tackle the issue of vote buying in particular, and some other electoral malpractices you told us at the beginning. You can wrap up now. This is the time for science.
Thank you, the moderator. The issue of vote buying, no doubt, is an electoral offense. We know that that corrupts our electoral process because the popular candidates, might end up not, being announced the winner of the election because the voters were reduced, and then that made them to give their votes to the wrong person. If you remember what I said earlier, the task of ensuring a free, fair, peaceful, and credible election is the task of all stakeholders. And the ordinary Nigerians are the major stakeholders in this election. INEC has told us that the youths in particular will determine the winners of this 2023 elections. So if there are no persons willing to sell their votes, of course, there will not be votes buying, even if there are those who are willing to buy. We should applaud INEC, that today we are even talking of vote buying as a menace, because in no distant future, we know that politicians don't actually even need to buy a vote. They write results, or maybe hijack ballot boxes, stuff the ballot boxes. INEC has tried so much that, with the review of the electoral laws, you can no longer hijack ballot boxes. You can no longer, write results. With the introduction of the beavers, you can't, overvoting can be easily detected because the number of accredited voters can be compared with the number of vote casts. So the reason we are having vote buying is because INEC, working in synergy with all the relevant stakeholders, has made rigging of the election very difficult for those who want to rig. And now the value, that is the electoral value of the votes, now becomes very, very important. That's the reason why politicians want to buy our votes. But again, with the introduction of the cashless policy, even though very controversial, and the introduction of the cash limit withdrawals is with a view to actually limiting, the opportunities for vote buying. So having done all that, still on the day of the elections, DSS of course would go on the ground, covertly monitoring those who are moving heavy monies around in their accounts in collaboration with other agencies like EFCC and ICPC. And then we can, of course, track movement of cash, either before the day of the election or on the day of the election. And then, of course, we'll be able to limit the issues of vote buying on the day of the election. The issues of whether on the day of the elections we have heavy presence of security personnel in the state capitals, whereas we don't have them in the rural areas. I think we all need to appreciate the fact that our elections have over time become over-militarized unnecessarily. Elections in other countries, are conducted without even people leaving their homes. People don't have to be police, to actually carry out this very, very simple civic responsibility. But because of our history, or because of our, a lot of factors, we are going to the level where, of course, we begin to demilitarize the issues of policing people on the day of elections. That emphasis will be reduced. But nonetheless, we should also appreciate the fact that if you have to conduct elections in over 176,000 polling units across the country, you have to juxtapose that vis-a-vis, polling units, collation centers from the world level, collation centers at the local government area, state level, and national level. The logistics requirements are huge. So, of course, we must appreciate the police and other agencies for what they've been able to achieve so far. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for making this elaboration. Let us take the ICPC to see how they are going to complement this effort. The DSS told us that they are going to monitor the movement of money in the account. So on the eve of the election, the ICPC is there also to complement. Let us hear what they are going to do about this corrupt practice.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And thanks once again for calling me up here. From our side, before I get there, the bishop mentioned something about we having different roles to play as ensuring our diversity is maintained. That's there's peaceful coexistence in terms of our diversity. And since we, as different law enforcement agencies, we have our diverse roles to play, but we cannot just rely on ourselves alone as security enforcement or security agencies or law enforcement agencies. But we have to collaborate with one another to ensure that we achieve our results, and which is peaceful election. And this cannot be done if we don't synergize together. ICPC, EFCC, we are working as one, not saying, okay, because I'm this, you want to show that you want to outshine the other agency. No. But by the time we work together, you see something happening in a particular unit, you can inform the other person, and then that's how we work together. But the situation where you see something happening not have. You listen to my speech earlier, as I mentioned some challenges that some of these agencies are facing, and then manpower is one of it. So some of us cannot cover all the areas. So if you see something happening and you see or you have a number of a particular security agent or any agency that is nearby, you can alert them, then they will inform us. There's no way we can be everywhere at a particular time. So we encourage you, if you see something happening somewhere, please, you try to inform us because we cannot be everywhere at the same time.
Any votes?
Well, we are all trying to work towards achieving, yes, we are all stakeholders, so we have to do that if we want peace to actually win. And then also, if I may say something on the issue of underage voting, we as parents also encourage our children to go out to commit this offense, because there's no way I'll see a child that is less than 18, then I will encourage the child to go, and because anything can happen. They can arrest the child. But thank God the INEC has put in place measures to screen them out. With the beavers now, there's no way an underage voter will succeed in voting. And if they try, then well, the law will catch up with such a child. So if you know persons that went and registered to vote and has not reached the age, please just advise them to stay away, because the law will catch up with them and there's nothing they can do about that. So I want to stop here for now. Yeah.
So we're very grateful, Madam, for this information from ICPC. I think before the INEC comes on board, would like to invite the EFCC. EFCC, you know, their core mandate is economic and financial crimes. Vote buying most likely will fall within that bracket, and therefore this makes EFCC very relevant in order to ensure there is no vote buying in our electoral processes. EFCC, what are the plans? Is the pipeline? What do you have in the pipeline for, tackling the issue of vote buying and even the underage vote?
Thank you so much. Well, at our level, I want to emphasize the issue of collaborative engagement and whistleblowing. I will not openly discuss our operational strategy, how we go about our work in combating vote buying and all of that. But what is needful? Before where there is no buyer, even if there are sellers and there are no buyers, there will be no market. The truth of the matter is that we need to drive sensitization and public awareness. Let our people know that these funds they are buying and selling and all of these compromises, they have effects. They will have a long-time effect on what happens to our democracy and the quality of governance that will emerge from the electoral process. So it is important that we are all involved in awareness creation, publicity, and enlightenment. The work of the arrest that we have made in the area of vote buying and all of that, is chiefly the function and the sources of intelligence. Intelligence is very important. Whistleblowing is very important. If we don't compromise and we see one or two or three people that are trying to compromise and we draw the attention of security agencies, not only the FCC alone, the ICPC, the police, the DSS, we work together to ensure that the right thing is done. It is not just about applying force, and sometimes persuasion is also needful. And the need for us to develop thick skin against this kind of electoral malpractice. So the issue of whistleblowing, public awareness, enlightenment, they are
very, very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, EFCC. The message is that all the security agencies are going to work in sync. They are going to synchronize their efforts in order to work together as one body to ensure free, fair, credible, and peaceful election in Nigeria. Thank you so much for making this effort, and we really appreciate you. Now is the turn of INEC to tell us what other issues they have that is going to tackle this, what other plans they have that is going to tackle these issues that are being raised. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Already my colleagues here have already done justice to these questions. I'll just add up to it that on the issue of underage voting, the Commission has gone far. We have improved our system where we give what we call AFIS. We push out all those that are not supposed to be in our register at all, either based on their age or whatever. We did that. That's why it took us a longer time before we produce the register and even issue out the PPCs. We take more than 3 months after registration. We do that extensively to bring out a clear register to Nigerians, and we have done that. Secondly, we have provided a window in November where people will come and make claims and objections on people that are not supposed to be in our registers. We tested them all over the nation. We've given out about 7 days for people to come out and check and object. If you see anybody that is not supposed to be on that register, we should raise an objection. We've done that in November, actually. So we have put things in place, and I believe you can understand that even during the 2022 FCT election, we have never had any case of any underage vote. The same thing in Ekiti and Osun. We have never heard of that. It means we have gone a long way in building our system to make it clean for everybody. I don't think we won't have that in 2023, actually. And then secondly, on the other issue of vote buying, INEC in its own role also have banned the use of phones in polling units. You cannot enter any polling unit with any phone at all. And even it has also made an arrangement where even the voting cubicle will not be in such a way that somebody can see what you are voting at all. So we have taken measures, and in collaboration with security agencies, we are trying our best to see that we have reduced this drastically and even wipe it out in our system. But like Madam has said, it is a very long thing that we have to work together. We are in a situation where we have a lot of poverty, and then these people have said that INEC have done a lot with this giver, so the only way they can go is vote buying. But we are on top of it. Like I told you, we have a committee of interagencies that are moving together to see we roll out this thing from our system completely. And we have to join hands with you too to make this system work. Thank you.
So one major issue before you leave that you need to address, most of these vehicles and other electronic devices that are being used, they require electricity.
Exactly.
And so remote areas, electricity is not there.
They are working.
They are working where even without
offline, but they are working. You can even our results that are going to this, they are working offline.
Thank you so much. INEC is well prepared. They are giving us a shout that they are safe. We are really happy to hear that. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. And now coming to an end, I would like to invite Madam from the National Orientation Agency to address the issue raised and the concern raised by the Nigerian students, Northern Nigerian students. What are you making in order to sensitize the youth, to engage the youth, especially students, on this electioneering process in order for us to attain peaceful election in Nigeria?
Thank you, moderator, and assistant on the newly established protocol. In NOA, we have a program called Campus Focus. And this Campus Focus is mainly for students in the campus who have been going to schools, to universities, talk to university students about shun electoral violence, like they should not be allowed themselves to be used as dogs. That because those politicians that want to use them as dogs do not use their children. How much will they pay you for 4 years? What if you get killed in the process. So we have this program called Campus Focus, and we are going to universities. I also want to address that somebody said something about people not understanding language. And where in rural areas, people don't understand the languages. And I said that is not true, except if people are not interested in understanding. We have offices for some of us for local governments of the federation. And our program is structured in such a way that we go down to grassroots and we speak your language. Apart from speaking your language, we translate flyers to your language. Even some of the ones I came with this morning, you can see, if you check your pack, you see that there are some that's written in Hausa. So we translate this to many languages in Nigeria. Not also that, we also have jingles. So that for people who are not letter, we also have jingles. That's say this in your local dialect. They play it on your radio all the time so that you listen and understand. Except people claim they don't want to understand. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. This is telling us that all the relevant agencies are making serious preparation toward attaining peaceful election in Nigeria. Thank you for that. I think the panels have exhausted the points that have been raised, and I can see the audience seem to be a little bit exhausted. I don't want to really prolong the sitting, but our Reverend Father from ECWA and AMAC chairman raised very important issue on the fact that God doesn't lower standard and we should be men of integrity. On this note, I would like to conclude by inviting the Imam to shed more light, and that will be the concluding part of our discussion. Then we hand over to the organizers for other housekeeping issues. Imam, over to you. Let us make it Reverend Emmanuel, Reverend Father Emmanuel, make it Kitab Uhisk, so that we conclude by religious precept. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum once again. You can agree with me when we started by thanking Imam Fuad for bringing all of us here. You can see all the relevant stakeholders are here, and they have made their mind on this issue. We, the religious leaders in our various centers, our job is to always call on our congregations to live in peace with one another. When we have a matter that is serious in our hands, like that of election, we also call on everybody to please contribute your own quota to make sure that this process is successful. Of course, we both mentioned that peace is the key to success. In the absence of peace, nothing will work. We have already mentioned, even the security operatives, they themselves, their duty is to ensure peace, but they too need peace so that their work will be easy for them. So our prayers is for Nigerians to embrace peace in almost all their actions. Prophet Muhammad says, La yu'minu ahadukum not this one, the other one, that says, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyukrim jarahu. Whoever believe in Allah and believe in the life after this, he must to respect his neighbor. You can see anybody can be your neighbor. Anybody can be your neighbor because it is Allah who arranged the society itself. So for this, I would like to say, inshallah, we are going to have peaceful, credible, successful 2023 general election in our country, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am. And this is what I term Kitabu Misk. And I believe the Reverend Pastor will be happy as well that we are ending on this spiritual note. Now we have come to an end of this panel discussion and the presentation at this technical session. It's now my privilege and honor to invite Imam Fuad Adeni to give the vote of thanks and finally wind up the session.
Well, alhamdulillah, I'm speaking the language of woman. We want to thank Almighty God for this opportunity. And I want to thank all of us who are here, right from the management of the NTA. We want to thank and appreciate them, the representative of the ambassador of the United States of America, who actually promised to be here, but we thank her for the message that she sent. And the moderator, many of us will not know that he purposely came from BUK, from Kano, yesterday night, just to moderate this program. But that might be just the beginning. We want to thank you. And we want to appreciate you. He's always ready in the moment that it is something that will change the world for better. Call Professor Usman Dinore. He will be here before you say one. So we don't want to thank you. And all stakeholders who we have invited here, the security people, the INEC, the NOA, the SSS, and the correctional these services, we call it correctional centers, correctional service. You know, some of us didn't go to school well. And also, all our imams who are here, we want to thank you. And our pastors, our religious leader, especially Bishop Peter Ogunwiwa, who just actually flew in from Lagos this morning because of the program too. And we want to thank him for that. And all our guests that we've always been inviting to the program, we want to thank you for your patience and for your understanding. The media too, we want to appreciate you because most of the things which we do, if you refuse to black us out, then nobody will know we are doing anything. So we appreciate you, those of you who are here and those who are not. And fathers, General Abbas Adekane, who also came in yesterday, from a journey, he was not supposed to have come, but for him not to miss the program, he also came back yesterday. We want to thank you so much for that. And our ambassador is a father, he's a teacher, who also came very early. We want to thank you and we want to appreciate you. And to all of us who are also here, we want to say well done and we thank you so much. And to my team, that we have been working together. You not believe we got this hall about 8 days ago, and that is when we started planning this. Just about 10 days ago, we got this opportunity that the hall is vacant for us, we should come and use it. And then we started all this, and in less than 2 weeks, we were able to put together. I want to thank the team who has really worked hard, right from the secretary, Manan Nudin, and all of you who have worked. I pray that God, in His infinite mercy, will reward you all. And to our MC, who I do not know whether she gets crashed. because she got to know that she'll be the one to do the MC this morning. Although we trained her, when somebody bears a name that is very strange, I'm the only one that knows her name. So we want to say thank you and well done. And all of us are very grateful. Please don't forget to continue to join us on NTA by 11:30 every Friday to see what we are doing on Abrahamic Vision, and by 5 p.m. every Sunday for the repeat program. We want to thank you once again, saying peace. I'm sorry, and also it's on Radio Nigeria by 5 p.m. Also on Citizen FM. They also they are carrying the program about 2-3 times in a week. About 2 other media stations that are also about to join the program. So with all humility, Abrahamic Vision has gotten a record in this country that no other program has gotten, except government program, where a program is being aired on television at the same time on radio and other media houses, and it's not being paid for, and it's not political gathering. I think it's the first of its type in this country. To all of us, I say, may God reward you all. Thank you.
Also, thank you, Imam, for thanking everybody. He has already said this at this point we're closing, so we'll close by calling one of our young men in the room to give us a closing prayer. Malam Yusuf, please come forward. While he's on his way, the moderator, Professor Usman Mohammed Shraib, is the dean of Faculty of Law at the Bayero University of Kano, and he heads the international. Oh, we have a Ramadan lecture, March 27th. Wow, that's nice, letting the cat out of the bag. So we'll still be having him in March for our Ramadan lecture. Thank you so much, Prof. May Allah be pleased with you. Now the closing prayer.
I want to thank Almighty Allah for this event. I want to thank AL-HABIBIYYAH and all the invited guests here. And to come here, we want to go to Almighty Allah to take us to our various destination safely. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the world, the most gracious, the most merciful. Must start the day of judgment. It is you we worship, upon you we fall for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who you have blessed, not of those who came so there is anger, but of those who you misguided. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
The national anthem. Can we close with the national anthem, please? May we rise for the national anthem. Are we singing it?
Thank you.